Back many moons ago, there was a time when it was acceptable for us youngsters to wear denim overalls, wallet chains, and golf visors when in fact we did not partake in the sport. When light-up shoes were all the fucking rage, and when Marky Mark and his funky bunch ruled over all of Middle-earth.
Frodo! I'm coming with you! Coming with you! Coming with you!
For what it's worth, people really did do these things. Here's a short raunchy slideshow of some other trends of the era for your enjoyment.
Disclaimer, I partook in none of the previous fashion trends stated. It was a shameless attempt at poking fun at the era in which I grew up.
The era I'm speaking of is the 90s, of course, and as a kid growing up in the 90s, I loved video games. Especially the Super Nintendo. I also loved Disney, so imagine my excitement when I heard that Capcom were developing a game based on one of my favourite Disney films of all time, Aladdin. It's worth mentioning the Sega Genesis also had a game based on Aladdin by Virgin Interactive, which was vastly different from its SNES counterpart. It's a whole different beast! But the Super Nintendo was lucky enough to have Capcom, and ooh, was that ever a good name to hear back then? Don't remind me of what they've become. But back then they were masters of the trade. Now that all that's out the way, let's get this old sea dog sailing. Bessie! Aladdin for the Super Nintendo is a fantastic side-scrolling platformer, released on November 21st of 1993 in North America and January 27th the following year in Europe. The game follows the same plot as its movie counterpart and does so surprisingly well, using static cutscenes with text to explain the events shown. Now the story of Aladdin itself is one that is very well known around the world, but just in case you aren't familiar, here's a brief summary. As I was saying, the game follows this story very closely, and this isn't a bad thing. It's something many of us know and love, and having them decide against deviating from the original plot is the best route they could have gone in my opinion. And I know I'm not alone on this when I say that modern day developers would do well to take note when working on their own movie based games, because Capcom really knew their shit back then, and if other developers knew half as much these days, the world would be a better place. Maybe we wouldn't have this filth! What better way to adhere to an already established fanbase than by blending something they know well with outstanding gameplay that stands out from other titles in the same genre. The game features 6 stages with a unique bonus level and final boss at the end. Everything is beautifully rendered and looks fantastic. Playing Aladdin for the first time, you never really know what the next area will look like because they all change so drastically. And I'm no marmoset. Oh, for fuck's sake. And I'm no genesect. For fuck's sake! And I'm no architect, but the ways in which some area designs progress are very intelligent and actually make sense. The entrance to the Cave of Wonders stage, for example, features a flowing river with logs for platforms. As you progress deeper into the cave, the theme changes, however, introducing lava and other environmental details. The same holds true for the first few areas as you begin at street level in the Agrabah marketplace and end up taking to the rooftops to avoid guards. I said some make sense, not all. Fucking hear you there in the back. In terms of gameplay and controls, it controls just how you would expect a Capcom platformer to. Like an old-fashioned Spanish man controls his wife. Aladdin has 2 main methods of attack. He can throw battles which stun enemies for a short while. Trained soldiers of the Sultan are laying waste to by the dreaded apple! And can jump on enemies like we've seen in many other platformers. The apples actually come in very handy as there are some enemies in the game that come after you with a burning passion. Rivaling the likes of this fella. The platforming in Aladdin is done very well. Jumps feel responsive and not once did I find myself dying unfairly due to faults with controls. Another cool little aspect of the gameplay is the sheet that Aladdin uses as a parachute to glide after jumping, similar to the cape from Super Mario World. Holding the R button will allow you to glide for a short period, and this is a major asset in some of the trickier platforming areas of the game, such as the Genie stage, which is one of the best levels in the game, might I add. This stage in particular has some tense jumps and maneuvers to make. Wait, how the fuck is he standing on this? It's a fucking tongue! Unsturdy fucking hazardous. I'm coming to your place so I can tell you how to do your job. Disney! Accept it! But in all seriousness, the game captures the Disney essence very well thanks to the hugely imaginative levels that Capcom were able to conjure up. Even small inclusions like the hidden golden scarab placed in each stage that enables you to play a roulette type minigame for a chance to win extra lives, continues or heart pieces. It gives you the incentive to actually search for the collectible and adds a little bit more depth. Something I hear people complain about is the lack of boss battles in the regular stages of the game. The first stage ends with a boss battle in the marketplace of Agrabah. Alright, I suppose it's boss time. Unhand that woman! You bastard. When I first played Aladdin, I enjoyed the boss fight a lot and couldn't wait to see what other bosses they would have me fight later on. It's true that the first stage does throw you off, giving you the impression this is the structure the game will follow. While you don't fight another boss until the final stage of the game, I understand the reason behind this now that I'm older. As a kid I thought to myself,
how can this not have more boss fights? Booba Dario and Koronic the Hedgehog have boss fights.
But now that I'm older, I understand the sole purpose of the first boss fight was to save Jasmine, so in a sense that was a justified battle, whereas they wouldn't really have any reason for you to fight a boss in later stages besides Jaffa. Furthermore, they'd risk breaking up the gameplay and damaging the superb flow of the game. And let's be honest with ourselves, isn't it a good thing that a side-scrolling platformer on the SNES decided not to follow this cliché structure that the genre is known for? It did a great job of showing a platformer doesn't need a boss fight at the end of every stage to stay fresh and exciting the whole way through. I feel bad about this, but in all honesty I don't have a single complaint about the game. The level of challenge is just right, it's designed well to give a great sense of progression, and is short enough to beat in just over an hour, which is the perfect length for a game like this in my opinion. It even promotes healthy eating, and gives an Oscar-winning depiction of a man suffering from severe gingivitis living out his last days in a dingy cellar wearing nothing but a curtain as a cloak. Wait, this isn't... Oh my god. Mark, can we rewrite this? It isn't... What the fuck is this shit? What the fuck is this? Listen, I brought you in because I felt bad for you when you were going through a rough patch, I really did. I put a roof over your head for fuck's sake, but when you're fucking things up! In summary, Aladdin on Super Nintendo is a brilliant game that has aged perfectly. It's the type of game you may forget about for a long time, but the slightest mention of it and you're dying to play it again. I don't say that about many games, but it really is true. If me twiddling this game's ween doesn't give you an idea of how good it is, I urge you to go play it right away. Well, after how stressful that's been, I think I'm gonna go slip into a heroin-induced coma for a little while. Hello everyone. I just wanted to take this time to thank everyone who watched this, and I sincerely hope you enjoyed it. I put a shit ton of effort into it, and I hope it shows. I will be doing more reviews like this from now on, and we'll be getting a camera so you can all see my elegant physique in majestic high definition. So stick around for that. If you liked the video, maybe let a friend know, they might like it too. I also do Let's Plays, so be sure to check those out. Click the annotation on screen to see my full playthrough of the game I just reviewed. It's good.